Trekkie girl, Trekkie girl. She loves outer space, has a black and white face. So girl, my Trekkie girl. I'm the Lennon Nemo, she's a real McCoy. She got a spark haircut with curls.
By way of introductions,
Guys, just stop. That's never going to work. Sorry.
Oh, bless him. That's so good. Thank you.
I'm Sam. And
I'm Sarah.
I'm John.
I'm Carol.
the three of us make the Trekkie Girls. John's from...
Visually Trek.
So yeah, it's been nice to meet you. Here's McFadden and Patti Yasutake.
Yes.
Oh my god, we're here. Just kind of like geek out, get this out of the way. We've really enjoyed you this morning, and just now with your talk. It was really good fun. We enjoyed listening to you.
Oh, good.
Welcome to Southampton and the SF Ball.
Thank you.
Have you had a good time?
Really good time.
Excellent, excellent. Now, playing a doctor and a nurse, the SF Ball, of course, supports a charity.
Teenage Cancer Trust.
Is that a charity particularly close to your heart now, or are there any other medical ones? I wonder what influence
Well, you know,
playing medical professionals have had.
I think it's just so appropriate that the first time that we get together after the show came down, essentially, would be an appearance for a charity that is benefiting the Teen Cancer Trust. It just seems so appropriate that that's where it would be supporting, in essence. And all of us, I almost don't know anybody who has not been affected or touched by someone, family, friend, or whatever, who has had cancer. I mean, my sister is a cancer survivor, and so, and Gates has her own battle with those things, and so it seems appropriate.
Well, I'm a cancer survivor, and but I also, having children, you understand what a difficult period it is for teenagers. It was brutal for me, so I certainly think it's been overlooked very often by the medical community, or because they just don't have the funds. So I think the fact that it's targeted is quite extraordinary and very right on. So that's wonderful. I also am a big supporter of international rescue. And Doctors Without Borders, which I think is so Star Trek. I've done a lot for Doctors Without Borders, as well as the Red Cross, but I really, I think it's perfect, and I loved seeing Patti.
This has been a great reunion for us.
Have a great dynamic together. You can tell that you're sort of friends, you've known each other.
She's a smart gal.
TNG at 30, why do you think the series is the most popular incarnation, and why has the show stood up for so long?
I think it's because it's not the dystopian view of the future. It's got a future that has hope, and that shows that people can be tolerant, can be exploring, can survive things that are really difficult circumstances, and that there's a positive future. And I think it's one of the things that it also doesn't give judgments of this is the right way, this is the wrong way. It sort of presents it in a balanced way, and you get to think about it and make up your own mind.
I'm fairly new to it all, and bearing in mind it's 30 years old, the issue's still relevant today, just in a different way.
Right.
It's kind of timeless, I think,
Right.
in that sense. So yeah.
Genesis was a big episode for both of you, and we've just been speaking about it in the talk downstairs. And Gates, you've mentioned about the difficulty of becoming a director on Star Trek, and a lot of cast had the opportunity to direct. Do you think that's something that's still an issue in Hollywood today?
Oh, well, it definitely is. It's starting to change, but when we were doing it, it was a huge problem. There were very few shows. And shows like LA Law, they had a lot of women who were directing, but they were sort of shows that were more liberal-minded and progressive. I think that was, to me, the one disappointment in Star Trek, is that I felt there was sometimes it was not progressive in terms of equality for females, both in terms of screen time and issues and roles, and I thought it started to get much better by the 6th and 7th season. I thought the characters were superb, and I obviously, to have an episode, Picard was a phenomenal captain, and Patrick was brilliant at it, and he was such a good leader for all of us. So I don't mean it that, I loved him as our leader, but I do feel that in certain aspects, yes, you know, when they would have Crusher hit someone over the head with a frying pan, it was, I know it was sort of tongue-in-cheek, but the thing that was slightly offended me was that the fact that I had, out of some of the cast members, I actually had been a choreographer. I had done fencing. I had done stunt, you know, things like that. So it was sad that whereas if I had been male, I would have been pushed to do that and use all of your capabilities. As a woman, you're not. I wasn't at that time. But this has changed. This has very much changed.
We were discussing that actually from a feminist point of view, that Dr. Crusher and Nurse Gower and all the women on Star Trek were wonderful role models for us growing up. We completely took it for granted that there was a woman chief medical officer, single mother, who occasionally commanded the starship. We took that at face value.
Which is great.
That's great.
So great.
That's
That's
what's
progress.
wonderful about it. So we hear now in the 21st century criticisms of how women were used and how the women characters developed. But actually for us growing up, you know, we just took it.
That's
straight up.
fantastic.
So
I
thank
mean,
you for
seriously, that's fantastic. That's the whole point of it.
Exactly.
And, you know, I mean, what's not to like about smart women, right? What's, I mean, I don't get it. So.
Well, Patti, your character, Nurse Gower, first appeared in Future Imperfect. Did you expect that to be a recurring role?
No, because it was future imperfect, meaning if I come back onto the ship, then all the ages are like way off, and I thought that won't work. And so, but you know, to their credit, they just sort of put those things aside, suspended, you know, belief for a minute, and I was back, and I was more than happy to be back and make that reality. But yeah, there were times I thought, does this make sense? And and then even while I was already cast as a gal, I had made a couple of appearances as her, then they were still reading me for some of the other roles actually. That came
No
up.
way. Like
Remember,
what?
Like Roz Chow's role?
No kidding.
Yeah, they brought me in, and I was reading this scene. I think there was, and at one point there was one scene, I think I went into casting, and I was already on the show, and I think it had to do some kind of scene with Jonathan, and I thought, this is odd. This is really odd. But then
That's
with Roz's characters, the Keiko O'Brien character,
Yeah.
they had me read for her, and I thought, well, good on them that somehow.
She was a great
Across
casting
the-
director.
Junie Lowry.
She
I was
was-
talking to Anne, who runs this convention, about that I have not seen her
so
at
good.
any of these conventions that I'm aware of, and she might have, but her taste in
Yeah.
theater actors coming into a television show, especially one about the future though, she really thought theater actors, and that's her value, and that's why most all of the cast really come from the theater, and I think that's why in a way there was a payoff, you know, to that kind of casting. So it'd be interesting, you know, at some convention I'm sure that if they invited Junie Lowry Johnson to come give her thoughts, because a lot of the questions we get about casting, she saw it across the board.
She's a very smart casting
Intent
director.
there for future conventions.
Woman casting director.
Absolutely.
Yes.
One last question. You've been very active on social media with your politics, as have many other Star Trek cast and crew members. Any chance of going to politics and save us all?
I think being a politician must be one of the most difficult things to do, and it's not for me. I'm actually someone who would rather be an activist in another way. I do feel a responsibility to do something, not just talk about it. And it was wonderful to do the march. It was wonderful to feel the solidarity and community. It was extraordinary. And to just see all these different things all over the world.
Yeah.
It made me, because initially I was like, oh God, my French friends, I mean, it's just, they're like, how can this? We all thought it was not even possible. But, and it brought up a lot of things, the fact that Hillary was so hated and Obama was so hated. I'm like, I don't truly, I don't emotionally understand that kind of hatred. I mean, I don't have that kind of hatred for Trump, for example. I don't. I can tweet things, but I'm not going to, because I don't think you can really judge somebody. We don't know how he was raised. We don't know what his psychological problem. But do you want somebody running your country? You want to be able to have your belief system and feel that your voice matters. So yeah, this is a very, very turbulent time all over the world. I mean, there's Marie Le Pen. There's so much. So yeah, I'm very concerned. I have nieces and nephews and children and stepchildren, and I want there to be a world. I want to have a world for everybody.
I find it really interesting. Sam's like the Trekkiest of us all, and she's actually gone back and watched specific episodes of Star Trek that she's felt like speak to her at this time, and it's so nice to see. I think that's the power of Star Trek.
Like what? Give me one.
The example I have was the drumhead. I actually wrote some political learnings from it, and actually what you were saying about how Star Trek is more compassion and empathy. Picard, when he talks to Worf, says, "This doesn't feel right," and that's when I realised actually he had a gut feeling.
Yeah.
He didn't react. He went away, thought about it, and constructed an argument, a rational argument, and that was the beauty of Star Trek.
See, isn't that perfect? And that's so great because it's not impulsive, and that's exactly what's the problem right now.
It's
impulsive. Yes, you have a system of checks and balances. That's why it's there. You know, we are not about. And I think that's one of the problems we all are faced with is how can you take it in and not just be reactive. Anyway, well, thanks.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
It's been amazing.
Really lovely
Thank
talking
you.
to you.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you. Thanks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Get some more coffee.
Oh, thank you so much for
Thank you. Oh, thank you.